Alright, I know what some of you might be thinking. What the fuck have you been doing? Why haven't you made any reviews recently? Are you finally quitting this and actually getting a real life? Well, no, unfortunately those kinds of miracles don't happen around me. It's just that, as you can see, that on the sides of my face, my acne has gone completely haywire, and I got really insecure about it, like a stupid fucking teenager that I am. I'm over it now, even though, obviously, my face isn't over it. I'm just embracing it, I'm just trying not to pop it, going to a dermatologist, doing all the generic acne YouTuber shit. I'm telling myself stupid, corny, inspirational things in the mirror. Trying to live life, and not being a fucking pussy over it. So recently, I went to have a physical examination. Yesterday, in fact, I went to get a physical examination to see if I'm, suitable to serve in the military. Because, fun fact, if you're a guy in Korea, if you got a dick and a pair of balls, and if you're a guy in Korea, you have to serve in the military for 22 months. You do get paid just a little bit, definitely less than actual soldiers, but you have to serve in the military for 22 months. It used to be 30 months, which is fucking nuts. But then they realized, hey, these guys should have a life, so let's just try to, tone it down a bit. Also, now it's more about bombs than actual ground level battles, so maybe because of that they need less soldiers. And it turns out Korea has a lot of people who want to be soldiers, so they're just kind of toning the military service thing down. But I was getting ready for it. It's not like I have to go to the military right away. It's just an examination. I was getting ready for the stupid buzz cut thing, and getting ready to waste 22 months of my life in the military for a war that's probably never gonna end, and learn how to throw hand grenades, shoot guns, and maybe lose some weight, goddammit, it could happen. I pissed in the cup. And then there was the mental examination, because it's a part of the examination, and it turns out because of my mental conditions, I have to do another examination 6 months from now, and there is a very slight chance that I might not have to serve in the military. So, who the fuck knows? Who knew that being bipolar could actually help you in this way? Of course, then I'll have some problems getting a real job if I never get to do the things I want to do in life. But those are small things. But speaking of the military and the Korean War and soldiers and whatnot, as you might have seen in the news, Donald Trump and North Korea are having some conflicts. And there's a very, very good chance, not even a slight chance, there's a very good chance that some shit is gonna go down. So if you have if you have a TV, if you got the internet, we're getting into some really sketchy territory here. And this was actually one of the questions on my little Ask Me Stuff video with the no-face music box spinning there. And my answer to this question is way too long, but I want to answer this, so I'm making a separate video here. And considering that I'm slightly in the middle of it, I'm a Korean, I live in South Korea, although, admittedly, the southern part of South Korea, so I am, compared to Seoul, and compared to more of the higher populated cities in Korea, I am definitely further away from the actual DMZ line, but still, I'll have to do, I'm part of this whole thing, and I don't like what's going on. And after Trump, shot all those missiles to Syria, I'm not really sure what's going to happen. I always thought Trump was going to be one of those presidents that everybody's going to complain about, and he's probably going to do a few shitty things, but in the end, he's not really going to do anything when it comes to a global scale. But no, he's actually doing it, and it's kind of scary now. And considering how crazy Kim Jong-un is, even compared to Kim Jong-il, I'm getting worried. But a sensible part of me actually is saying that this whole nuclear war thing is not going to happen, because just like Donald Trump recently learned, it's not that simple. And a lot of people who are worrying about this whole thing might be looking at this in a way too simpler light, because when you consider every single scenario, there's a very good chance that this will never happen. As long as the people around Trump are smart enough to realize this. I'm just hoping they are. So I'm just going to give you 3 scenarios of what might happen, what would happen, what could happen. And I'll explain why all of these will never happen. Well, I mean, I hope one of these happen, because the one thing, and this is the first scenario. Number 1, nothing happens. North Korea stays low for a few months. Trump forgets about it, and it's going to kind of feed his ego, because he's going to think that he's scared of North Korea, and he'll flaunt his ego elsewhere and do a lot of other things. So, and considering the fact that they fucking failed the missile launch, I'm pretty sure that North Korea is going to do something else. Although I feel like I might be wrong, because quite recently on the news in Korea, they said that North Korea is gonna do another missile launch testing on April the 25th. So I don't know what's gonna happen on April the 25th or the 26th or the 27th, or basically like a week within that little missile launching. Maybe a war is gonna happen. Maybe I'll die. Who the fuck knows? But come on, North Korea, you failed a missile. You need time. What the fuck are you doing another missile launch in like 3 to 4 days from now? God damn it. It's stupid. In fact, because most North Koreans don't really speak English, I might actually need to goddamn tell them in Korean. 야, 북한놈들 김정은 솔직히 말하자. 미사일이 지금 하늘로 날아갔다가 바로 터져버렸는데 어떻게 1주, 2주 만에 다시 해서 뭐가 달라지겠어? 솔직히 그냥 바로 또 날아가서 위에 터져버리겠지. 그래서 뭘 기대하는 거야? 트럼프가 지금 이렇게 난동 부리고 있는데 너희들 진짜 죽을 각오로 하고 이런 또 실패를 하면 어떻게? 또 실패하더라도 트럼프는 그것만 보고도 바로 이제 방아쇠 누르면서 그냥 폭탄 다 날아갈 건데 도대체 뭔 생각하고 있는 거야? That felt good. Now here's a second scenario. What if Trump completely obliterates North Korea? Because America does have enough power and enough warfare material to completely destroy half of Korea. And if Trump really doesn't care about the people in North Korea, and like obviously Kim Jong-un, totally worth dying. Some of the generals there, totally worth dying if we don't want a war. But there are some innocent people there. But if Trump doesn't care about any of them, then he could totally obliterate North Korea. I don't want that to happen. They're still blood brothers to me. But what if it happens? Well, the aftermath impact on Seoul, the capital of Korea, is gonna be very evident or apparent, because North Korea and Seoul is like 60 kilometers away from each other. That's like 60 miles. That's short enough for a bomb to have an aftermath impact on Seoul. So thousands of people are still going to die in Seoul. Not only just in North Korea. I mean, there's not going to be a single North Korean alive, but a good chunk of South Korea is going to get obliterated, going to get damaged too. Also, because we're getting rid of the entirety of North Korea, a good chunk of China is also going to have some aftermath impact. And the U.S. at this point probably doesn't want any conflict with China, because that could actually lead to a World War III level of insanity. And this really is the main reason why I don't think he's going to totally obliterate North Korea. China's too much of a big deal here. And another thing, not only is Seoul going to get damage, but a good chunk of the upper half of South Korea is going to get completely fucked up, because North Korea and South Korea is still technically in a war. The war never ended. It's just we're just kind of in a phase where we're not shooting each other. There are still missiles at bay from both sides. So the second North Korea sees the bomb, when they finally detect the bomb coming towards North Korea, the missiles at bay will fire towards South Korea, because obviously the missiles can't reach America, so for some reason they're just going to shoot us. And yes, I'm not being unreasonable here, that's exactly what's going to happen. So the missiles at bay will fire towards South Korea, so Seoul getting fucked up, Gwangju, Busan, most of the big cities, most of the highly populated cities in Korea are going to get totally screwed up. thousands, possibly millions are going to die. Millions. Millions. Now, technically, because I live in the southern part of South Korea, it's not going to reach me, so there's a very good chance that I might win. I'm not saying that I might win. I'm saying that there's a very good chance of me living. A week in the bunker will be sufficient. There's not going to be a war because obviously North Korea is obliterated in this scenario. So I'm going to be totally fine. But here's a third scenario. What if Trump doesn't obliterate North Korea? What if he just kind of half-assed the bombing? What if he just went for the essential targets? Maybe just Pyongyang, maybe some military, the fuck's that sound? I heard something. What if he just targets certain military bases in North Korea? Well, obviously, that means certain people are going to live. There's a very good chance Kim Jong-un's going to live because, people like Kim Jong-un and, in the past, Saddam Hussein always have these great bomb shelters, and they're going to live anything. They're going to survive anything. So the aftermath impact is still going to happen, although it's going to definitely lessen. China probably won't get damaged at all. Seoul, yes, Seoul is still going to get damaged. Thousands are still going to die, but it's going to get it's going to have less aftermath impact compared to the obliteration of North Korea. The missiles at bay will still fire, so Seoul is going to totally go away. Seoul is completely gone. Busan is still going to get damaged. A good chunk of the upper half of South Korea is still going to get damaged. But clearly, because North Korea is still intact, somewhat intact, there's going to be a war. And and from there, two things are going to happen. One, this whole thing might just turn into a nuclear war between North Korea and America. So, obviously it's going to end within like a week or so because it's not like the wars in the past. It's not like soldiers are going to run around the ground fighting each other. And this is definitely not a situation where that's going to happen, especially with North Korea and America. America at that point has enough power to completely beat the living hell out of North Korea. North Korea doesn't know what the fuck they're in at that point. And maybe I need to get into the war. Maybe I'll turn into a soldier and actually serve in the military. Because here's the thing. Here's something else you didn't know. Not only do we need to serve in the military for 22 months if you're a guy in Korea, but when the war happens, you don't have a fucking choice. You have to serve in the military until the war ends. I'm not kidding. This is how it works. We don't have a say in this. If you're a guy, if you got a dick, you're going in there. If you're XY chromosomed, you're going into the shit, and you're gonna shoot some fucking North Koreans, and it's gonna totally fuck you up. You're gonna have PTSD and all that. That's just gonna happen. So, it's either gonna be a short nuclear war, or maybe we're actually, at least between North Korea and America. But when it comes to North Korea and South Korea, I'm not sure what's going to happen. Maybe there's going to be some ground battles. Maybe it's going to be a nuclear war. And considering the fact that South Korea doesn't have any nukes, we might die. I probably could die as well. So I'm not really sure what's going to happen. Thankfully, because I live in the southern part of Korea, there's a very good chance that I might live. But there's a very good chance that Korea is not going to get stable at all. And if this whole thing happens, and if Seoul and all those big cities just totally get destroyed, then obviously Korea becomes a less powerful country. Businesses like LG or Samsung are going to go down financially. They're going to get completely destroyed when it comes to global marketing. So, considering all of this, and considering that every country does want to live, and every country does want to be financially stable to a certain extent, I think South Korea is going to do a hell of a job, or at least something, to convince Donald Trump that this is not a good idea, to just throwing bombs and North Korea is not going to solve the problem. So many people are going to die. And it might be, a second Hiroshima. And I don't think America wants that. I don't think it's going to add anything to Trump's legacy or America's legacy. It's just going to be another war stain on America's history. And Donald Trump, from what I've seen so far in Donald Trump's little office time here. He seems to be the guy. He seems to be a guy who really wants people to like him. So I'm just gonna assume that, considering that bombing North Korea will totally destroy his legacy, I'm also gonna assume that he won't bomb North Korea, and that's just me. But if he really wants to be this world police figure, you know, the president who destroyed all evil in the world, if he really wants to be one of those kinds of presidents, then I do have some advice for him. And I feel like this is something that he should have learned. It's something that every Americans should have learned from the Saddam Hussein assassination. Bombs don't work. Bombs lead to war. Bombs lead to millions dying. Bombs lead to innocent people dying. What works is people. You need to send a team. You need to send an actual team in there to assassinate him, because all of these great dictators and all these terrorists, they have amazing bomb shelters. They probably have a Blu-ray player in there. There's a vinyl player, and there's everything. There's a karaoke machine, whatever. So what you really need to do is actually send some people in there. And I know North Korea is a hard place to send military people in, but it's America. I'm sure you have some way of doing it. So please understand this. Bombs don't work. Just because your dick is big doesn't mean the woman is gonna get pleased. You need to get smart with it. You need to know your skills. You have to have skills. You need to know your surroundings. You need to understand what's going on. Actual people work. Giant dick-looking motherfucking bombs don't. I'm just saying. So yeah, that was my little thing on North Korea and Donald Trump. I hope I live. I probably am. But the bunch of the rich motherfuckers in Seoul are probably gonna die if this actually goes down to the shit. And you know what? For some morbid, fucked up reason, I'm totally fine with that. So, yeah. I hope nothing happens. We'll see on the April 25th. And if 3 months from now, if nothing happens, then nothing's probably going to happen. This has happened before. North Korea has provoked both South Korea, America, and just a bunch of other countries. They tried pissing off a lot of countries before, and nothing has happened so far. It's been 5 years since Kim Jong-un became, you know, the president or the grand leader of North Korea. And look, nothing's happened. He's still a fucking crazy motherfucker. But let's just hope he just stays that way. A totally insecure, crazy motherfucker who probably has a small dick. I don't know. Bye.